Hey everyone, Eggman here with another video. And normally I try to keep my content closer to the English version of the One Piece card game. We're currently in the middle of the OP09 meta here in North America, but we had a lot of news for the Japanese version of the One Piece card game dropped this morning, and including 3 new leaders. We have this Luffy, this Shirahoshi, and this Jinbei. But the most important one to me right now is the blue and purple Luffy, especially since the Jinbei and the Shirahoshi are both just they're kind of more archetype based for cards that we haven't really seen before, or there's just been minimal support for it. So it's kind of hard to gauge these leaders as is. But if you guys want to see them, they're right here on screen. So Jinbei and the Shirahoshi. But the Luffy, without any cards released already, this is probably, there's been a lot of chatter already. This card is already very strong, and it's been really exciting to look at. It's kind of like a combination of 2 leaders I've been playing a lot in the One Piece card game already. So to see this, even though it's 6+ months away, it got me really excited, and I said, you know what, let's make a video going over it, and that's what we're doing today. So if you guys want more One Piece content in the future, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe. I do appreciate it. We do more content mostly on the OP09 meta, or just the English meta in general, kind of like turn results and stuff, but every once in a while we'll do something fun like this. So what does this leader do? First of all, if you haven't already noticed, it's a 6k leader with 3 health. So this is very similar to the Star Deck 10 red and purple Luffy, which has been, I've been enjoying that leader a lot right now. It's probably my favorite leader to play in OP09, so that's been very strong. And then also it has this effect, so you can activate this effect at the start of your turn, which means this is like literally the first thing that you do for the turn. This is before you draw, this is before you refresh your Dawn, this is before you add 2 Dawn from your Dawn deck. This is literally the first thing you do. So it's not something where you go from 6 Dawn to 8 for turn, then you can use this effect. You have to start the turn with 8 or more Dawn. So that's something I think that needs to be stressed, and kind of helps you gauge how good this leader is. It's still a really great effect because the rest of it is, if you have 8 or more Dawn, look at the top 5 cards of your deck, reveal up to 1 Straw Hat Crew type card, and add it to your hand, which is like half the cards in the game, right? Like there's so many good Straw Hat cards that exist, and this is without any cards being revealed for OP11 to support this leader. And then you place the remaining cards at the top or bottom of your deck in any order. So this is really great, and I think the key part is that you can put it at the top. So kind of what happens is that you can use this effect, you draw the 1 Straw Hat, you put the remaining 4, and then you draw for a turn. So you draw 2 cards every turn at the end of the late game, which is absurd, especially when you're a 6k leader. So this will kind of make up the deficit of being able to not have 4 life or 5 life, and also still be a 6k leader. So I think that's very, very strong. And then also some cards to kind of mention. We're going to go over a deck list in a little bit too, but this is just kind of like a pool of really good cards, and it kind of all centers around the 9-drop Sanji. So this says, on play, reveal 1 card from the top of your deck and add up to 1 character with a cost of 9 or less other than Sanji, then place the rest at the bottom of your deck. So this lets you off this play a bunch of things. This lets you play the 9-drop Luffy from OP9, which again, so if you haven't already noticed it, right? The idea is that, okay, well, one, this is searchable offer leader, which is pretty good in its own way, but we can set up the top card of our life for free with no Dawn investment once we're at our Dawn total, right? And then we're able to place the top card, right? And then after that, we can still do additional stuff. So 9-drop Luffy, fantastic. We already see it a lot in OP9. But on play, you can return 1 or more Dawn cards from your field to your Dawn deck. Draw 1 card. This character gains Rush for the turn. So for 9 Dawn, you're able to play the Sanji, which plays the Luffy, which draws you a card, which, spoilers, you still know the 3rd card in your deck, so you know what you're drawing off of that one. Sorry, the 4th one, right? You draw 1 off the effect, 1 for turn, 1 from Sanji, which is this Luffy, and then the 4th card. So you can kind of know what the best card for you to draw off that. So whatever the 5th worst card is at the bottom of the top 5 there. And then you get a 9-drop 10k rush on top of already having your 6-drop Luffy, or 6k Luffy attack from your leader. So that's very, very good in a lot of ways. You can also play cards like 7-drop Luffy Taro. So this obviously can play another card, right? So you can use this to play Sangoro or Zorojuro, right? Which will then you can make sure you can hit with this card, right? There's so many You don't have to, but it's very easy to make a 50 card Straw Hat deck that's still like good in its own way. Again, without any OP11 cards, which is super fun. So you guys already know Luffy Taro is really good. It's good in purple Luffy as well. So being able to play like Sangoro. Also, fun fact: this is named Sangoro, so this can't play Sanji's. So we can't play like the 7-drop rush card from OP9. We also can't play like the 2K blocker, but we are able to play Sangoro since it is a Sangoro, not a Sanji, so that's impactful too. You also can do some fun stuff. This is probably too theory crafty, but I'm going to mention it. You can play Charlotte Linlin off the card. So not only are you playing a 9-drop that plays a 9-drop, but also you're able to get a heal. You also know the card that you're healing off this effect, which can be good in some scenarios. So you could put, if you're playing like a Red Rock, you can put Gum Gum Red Rock to the top of your life, knowing that you can play it for free afterwards, which is really good. And then also the fact that you are a 6K leader that's healing is also really obnoxious. So I could see like this could be a really good combo for the deck. I don't know if it's the best one. I don't know if you want to be more like mid-range control-y or if you want to be more just aggressive, like spam the board with, you know, heavy bodies with rush. But it just seems really good in a lot of ways. And then you can always play 10 cost Luffy, right? I think there's probably better decks for it, but I know if I didn't mention this guy, people would be like, "Oh, what about 10 cost Luffy? You can play it." But yeah, I think you're fine either way. So the fact that we're not able to get like one Dawn during our turn off effects means like this is likely the worst purple Luffy to play this card, but yeah, you could if you wanted to, and it can be like a good end game condition. So other than that, I think that this is just like a good amount of cards, and I did end up making just a quick 50 card deck for this. This obviously is without any OP11 cards. This will never be played. This is just a bad version of what will be likely a somewhat viable deck, if not a very good deck. But some kind of other key cards I want to talk about. So Trafalgar Law searches your entire deck. It's crazy. It just says Straw Hat Crew or Heart Pirates. Doesn't matter the color. It has to be a cost of 2 or greater, which means that we aren't able to play Gum Gum Giant, which guess what? We can play Gum Gum Giant in this deck. That's crazy, right? So if we're at 10 Dawn, we play Sanji, we use the effect, we play something else. We can leave 1 Dawn open. We do have to be careful because it will prevent us from setting up if we use like a Dawn minus from like 10 to 9 and then use Gum Gum Giant, we start at 7 at the turn, which means we're not able to use our 7-drop or our 9-drop. We're not able to use our Luffy effect because we'll be at 7 Dawn before we're at 9 Dawn for the start of turn. So that means we can't, that kind of turns that off. But this is still like a really good card, right? Like the fact that this is already being played in a lot of other purple Luffys. You have to play this card, especially since it's searchable, right? This card says any Straw Hat Crew. So you being able to play, search Gum Gum Giant and then play 2 9-drops and be like, all right, cool, I'll use the giant effect afterwards, can just win you the game outright. It is absurd. So I think that's very, very strong for a deck like this. And so we are playing like the Luffy Taro. I think like this version is probably like really bad in the sense that you probably are playing not enough. Like I think like the better version will probably be just play as many high ends and then also just play a bunch of ramp cards to help you get to this, since there's no inherent ramp with this version of the deck. The leader doesn't ramp any, which is important. So the other kind of card I want to mention is something like Portuguese DA. So there could be some like weird scenarios where like your hand's kind of rough. So being able to use Ace to block, and then you say you draw 2, then return 2 cards to the top or bottom of your deck. You can return them to the top, and then you can reorganize them. So if there's like a time, if you're like at 8 Dawn exactly, right, and you're like, man, I really don't have anything better to do, I can play Ace. I can use the Ace to put the Luffy 9-drop to the top of my deck, and then from there I can kind of make sure that I get there, right? So you can use something like, use this, put 9-drop Luffy to the top of my deck, start my turn. I rearrange the top 5 so I can put the Luffy farther down, draw 2 for turn, and then play off the Sanji, right? So that I think can be strong to help you organize something like this. I'm sure there's going to be maybe like a reorganizer in the purple, in whatever cards we're getting from the deck in general. So that's good. Also, I'm going to guess that the deck's going to lean to more of blue Straw Hat cards, since we haven't really seen a lot of blue Straw Hats so far. So this Zoro Juro might just be bad, and also that means that like the Luffy Taro might be bad too, since it only plays purple cards. But obviously there's a build that can exist for playing off purple bodies as well. So clearly this is a really early deck list, but I was really excited to kind of theory craft. I've been playing again a lot of red purple Luffy, which this is obviously really close to, but also Marco was my favorite deck in OP08, which was kind of revolving around the idea of playing Sanji off of stuff. So or Sanji and getting the combination of like leader effect to put one to the top and all that stuff. So because of that, I think that's good. Some other cards too. You can also play like Teach if you need to work with Sanji, I guess. I don't know. You can there's all these kind of different like rearrange top 5 if you need that effect for it. But the fact that this Sanji is like incredibly searchable, right? Like this might also be a card like you can even blasphemously say you can put down to 3 copies because of how easy it is to find it. Again, you just look at the top 5 cards of your deck. If you've gone, through the game so far and you haven't found a blue Sanji, surely like this top 5 is going to be able to find it. And then I think the only consistency point that I see right now for this deck is that you are really kind of worried about if the top 5 cards of your deck are good enough to be played off the Sanji, because if they're not, you're kind of out of luck. So that's something that you kind of have to be curious about. So that might warrant playing like a copy or 2 of like 1-drop Perona as well, just to be able to say, all right, you know what? These 4 cards I don't care about. Let's bottom deck it. Let's use Perona for the extra 1 to really try to find something nice, and that can help you there. But I don't know if you need it as well. So other than that, I'm excited for. I know you guys are excited for the card too. I've been seeing a lot of chatter on it online. Again, we also do have the Shirahoshi and Jinbei leader announced too. This one, you need a Sea King or Megalo, which we haven't seen those cards before, but being able to have another, like this new wave of a leader that can't attack, that is a 5-life leader that's also green and yellow is really nice, especially yellow since it's a healing color. So these decks have always been more defensive leaning. So being able to heal consistently, even without any cards revealed, is nice. And then Jinbei is really nice. End of your turn, if you have 6 or less cards in your hand, set up to 1 of your Fishman or Merfolk type character cards with and up to 1 Dawn is active. So like you could use Hody Jones and you can use it to like attack and then get your restand it so your opponent can attack into it. There's like some niche things I've seen from cards we've already seen, but nothing too crazy at the moment. So I'm curious to see what this looks like. Getting the 1 Dawn every turn, though, I think is already a really great effect that is going to be relevant with some cards we've seen already. But it's hard to gauge these two without anything revealed. But I really do think, like, even without any cards revealed for OP11, this Luffy looks really insane. So that's going to be it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching. I know this is a little bit different. If you guys, again, want me to do more of these, like, look-ahead, like, reviews, let me know, and I'll definitely consider it in the future. But that's going to be it for me. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you all next time.